Ahmed, thanks for joining me. Glad to see you here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Eric.
Start me off by giving us a little sense of Sensoplex's place in the market. We've had a number of people here at the show this week that we've talked to, running the gamut in terms of what they do in the wearable space. Where's Sensoplex?
Well, we started Sensoplex 3 years ago when we realized that the wearable market was about to take off. And the reality is that in Silicon Valley and in many places in the US, the art of the hardware can be lost. So many people know how to build software, how to create apps, but making a good hardware seems to be something that fewer people have been concentrating on. And my whole life I've been in hardware, so with my partner, who is a PhD from Stanford and who also is a hardware guy, we decided that we wanted to help all these customers who wanted to start wearable companies.
So when you say you wanted all these customers who want to start wearable companies, tell me a little more in a little more detail. Who are the customers that you have and that you're looking for?
So our customers typically range all the way from seed-level startups to multi-billion-dollar biotech and pharma companies. Their purposes are different. The startups want to create a product that they hope will sell in the millions. And the larger companies, for many of them, they want to create a product that's very challenging to make. So they're looking for a company that has expertise in sensors, that has expertise in wireless, that has expertise in algorithms, that can put it all together for them in a way that will provide a higher degree of accuracy.
And that company is Sensoplex. So what kinds of services are you offering those customers?
So as a baseline, we start by creating a platform that includes a number of sensors. So typically we call it a 10-axis sensor platform because it has accelerometers, gyroscope, compass, pressure sensor, and so on. It also has processing, and it has wireless. Our latest platform has two 32-bit processors and also two different kinds of radios. One is BLE, low energy Bluetooth, which is very popular in wearables, and the other one is ANT+, which used to be popular but has lost popularity, but is very useful because it can do things that BLE cannot do. And we offer both so that combined they offer the best of both worlds. So once that we have that platform, customers can use that platform to do their evaluation and to test their ideas. And what they might want might be exactly what we are offering, so that will be the fastest time to production. All that they would need would be to design and manufacture the plastics and also to develop the app. And they're in business. They can be in business in less than 6 months. If they need a superset or a subset of the platform, then we have to customize it. Doing a subset is very easy because we just take off things. If it's a superset, it might take a little bit longer depending on what the requirements are. But the system that we have is like a Lego building block, so it's easy to add together or to take apart as a subset and develop a product very rapidly. Most of our customers get to production anywhere between 6 months and 12 months.
So aside from sort of understanding what the customers are looking for and then them understanding what their target market is, what are the challenges that both you and your customers are facing in developing the products?
One of the biggest challenges goes back to battery. People have been talking about energy harvesting, but the reality is that we're right now developing a product that has energy harvesting, but it's not a wearable. Doing energy harvesting in a wearable is really a few years out. So it comes down to the size of the battery, the capacity of the battery, and the power usage that the device needs. If a wearable needs to have a GPS capability, if it needs to have a 2G or 3G capability, that's going to eat away very fast into the battery, or the battery needs to be much bigger. And this is why most of the wearables out there, the simplest form, they use just accelerometers, which is very low power, and only BLE, which is also very low power. And those that are more sophisticated will probably use more sensors, they would use the power for that rather than for adding a 2G or 3G or even GPS capability.
There's also been, along the same lines, been some conversation around wireless charging. Is that going to help? Is that going to make design easier?
Sure, wireless charging is a reality. It doesn't really, it's not easier or more difficult to design. But what it has its challenges because, water charging, that means it has to be in a very close proximity to charge.
Sure.
And also it adds a little bit of cost. And it adds also a little bit of real estate. But it helps if you want to have a hermetically sealed device that is going to be waterproof and that you can take with you when you're swimming at 100 feet under the ocean level. But there are other ways to achieve that will economize both the area and the size of the device and also a little bit of the cost. So it depends what the customer wants to do.
Where do you see the biggest growth markets or the growth opportunities around wearables currently?
Well, it used to be that you had application-specific wearables. So you have the step counters and you have other wearables that were doing one thing and they were concentrating on that. Now with the watches, with the smartwatches like Apple Watch and so on, you have a device that has a powerful processor and you can run apps. So that makes it a multi-purpose device, very flexible, and again, it's the software that's going to determine functionality. So the question is really what is going to happen to the application-specific devices? And what I think is that there are going to be two big buckets. One would be these multi-purpose devices, very capable, but more expensive. And the other one will be the specialized devices that were developed by people who really understand application inside out, and that would be developing something with exactly the precise sensors and precise performance that needed for that application. And those guys also are going to do very well. Those are going to fall in between. So if it's only step counting, then that might become a very, very quickly a commodity market that's not creating money for anyone, unless they can create more stickiness by having an ecosystem with gamification and other things that are really more software and cloud driven.
And for Sensoplex, it doesn't matter which way.
Yes, yeah. So essentially we will create always the best product with the least amount of power consumption and at a lower cost that the customer would want.
Excellent. Hamid, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure.